What is going on, you guys? Today I'm going to teach you how to be the ultimate Spellblade. In order to do this, you're gonna have to learn the best build, skill rotation, what items to look for while leveling, so on and so forth. Let's go ahead and get into it. First, we're going to start with these skills. The most essential part of the build, Shatter Strike. We're using Shatter Strike to increase our global damage by 21%. We're gaining attack speed, and then we are gaining 80% mana with mana drain, and also mana on crit. Extra mana from Arcanist Blade as well. Very basic. Shatter Strike is used to cancel Shatter Strike, and it is also used as a generator. It's a very fast attack speed skill. It is also used to proc Spellweave in the Spellblade tree once you have Blade Weaver. We're only using one stack because literally only press Shatter Strike once, and then we should have half to full mana depending upon how many mobs we hit. Next, we have Shatter Strike, resource spender, the most important part of the build. We are using Ice Blink for the extra attack speed. This can only be used when dual wielding. We are dual wielding crystal swords. Breath of Cold, damage area, whiteout for the recasts, lingering chill, global increased cold damage, global freeze rate multiplier. Shiver is 3 out of 5, but it's only mostly for the cold steel. Critical multiplier sword, want as much multiplicative damage as possible. For Flame Ward, we are getting barrier, prismatic, 2 points, and then we're also gaining ward per second. What you could do is you could take 1 point out of energize and put it into prismatic buffer if you're taking a lot of elemental damage. It's personal preference, but we are maxing stalwart defense for the maximum amount of ward gain from Flame Ward. You don't have a lot of ward generation. Another option for this is to actually not go for the buffer and barrier, but instead you go for the extra ward on fortification, concentrated shielding, but that's literally removing the damage reduction modifiers, and it will only give you ward. So if you were to do this, I would highly recommend making sure that you have enough critical strike avoidance. But I chose the barrier and prismatic. Then we have dilation here, just for the mana efficiency and the extra duration. If you were to go into concentrated shielding, then duration and efficiency is kind of point. Yeah. For enchant weapon, we are not able to get the plus to enchant weapon on our helmet yet. We're still working on that, but I would max Frostband, and essentially the last point may go into the lens. I feel like I need it, might not need it, but as of right now I'm getting Frostband 4 out of 5. Shivering Blade, melee kill chance, concentration, active duration +4. We're getting the recast, we're getting the extra element. Surge is a very essential part of this build, as Surge is giving 150 ward gain plus an extra 5. A little bit of travel distance. That travel distance is going to help for the iframe because we're getting a vulnerability while surging, and then we're increasing the duration by 50%. That way our iframe just lasts a little bit longer, allowing us that much more survivability. Only getting the damage node. These damage nodes are literally only so that I can get to the iframe. And then we have increased stun chance, which this stun chance is going to pair very well with the chance to shock weapons. Increased stun chance on my weapon, stun duration on my idols. Okay, those are the skills. Next, we're going to look at passives. We already looked at Blade Weaver. We have Mental Fortitude maxed. We have Focus Razor maxed. We have Prismatic Blade 6 out of 8. Gemini, so that we can dual wield. Mana Reaver. Shattered Aegis. That way we're getting the maximum amount of armor. It does reduce our arcane shielding, but it's okay because we're getting armor per shield. Then we're getting extra ward gain and melee attack speed. Flat cold damage on melee hit. Extra ward gain on melee hit. And we're getting 18% resistance from elemental affinity being maxed. That's in our Spellblade tree. Then in our Rune Master tree, what we're getting is increased critical chance. This is a global crit modifier. We're only getting these points plus 40 and negative DR, 5 out of 8. We're only getting this so that we can get to the Rune Word Cataclysm for the extra critical chance. But it is extra DR, so it's not bad. We do it by chill. Here we are getting Arcanist. We have spec out of Elementalist, and we have went for Arcanist for the extra intelligence. The resistances are okay. I mean, it's great. It's not what we really need this for. I really just wanted the intelligence because intelligence is going to scale not only my damage of every skill, but it is also going to scale my ward retention. And ward retention is very important for this build so that you can maintain ward at all times when you're fighting. That being said, you do need intelligence for this build. So what else we are getting in this tree is ward gain per health, only 2 points. Once it drops below 70%, we're getting ward. Literally only for the 2 points that we can get to Mage Flurry for the increased attack speed and cast speed. That's all that's for. And then Knowledge of Destruction, increased critical chance, 70%, critical multiplier, 30%. Okay, those are our passives, those are our skills. As a level 100 Spellblade. That is the most min-maxed build I was able to create, passive and skills. Now, I am currently running Echoes. I'm running 404. I'm at 222 corruption. I'm going to push it higher. Literally just farming gaze and corruption. My goal is to be at least at 500 within the next day or two. But yeah, we are farming that with this setup. We are farming for Omnis, but until we get Omnis, this is the most optimal setup for Spellblade. You have a Diothin's Bloody Nip. Once I get this with Legendary Potential, it will truly best in slot. I have 2 Fonts of the Erased, which are giving me elemental resistance and cold damage, increased cold damage, increased elemental damage, increased cold damage. It is giving me poison resist, although I don't really need it. I that's the thing about Weaver's Will, you can't really decide the stats. But as long as you get cold damage or elemental damage within your Weaver's Will on these rings, I believe they are worth it because you're gaining extra resistances as well, making it easier to meet the resistance threshold. What I would prefer over at least one of these would be a perfect opal ring for the cooldown reduction. I'm going to show that in the build in the description, but it's much easier to just use Font of the Erased if you don't have perfect. We're getting extra ward generation. For our belt, critical strike avoidance is very important. That's going to be best in slot. Really, if you don't have like enough critical strike avoidance, I'm at 106%. Honestly, I could use. We're gonna stack that some other way once we get a few. Yeah, that's our belt. For our gloves, we're using increased melee attack speed, getting a little bit of damage, leashes health, armor, critical strike avoidance, and intelligence. For boots, we did get the extra stat of intelligence on our boots. I would prefer either intelligence or cooldown reduction. Really, I would want both if I could get a 2 stat. If I could get a 3 stat, then I would want maybe an extra movement speed, roll, intelligence, and cooldown reduction would be the optimal 3 stat. All right, for our weapons, we're using melee critical strike chance. I would prefer melee attack speed to be T6, T7, but the crit strike chance is okay. I have melee attack speed, chance to bleed, chance to shock, increased stun chance. Keep in mind that, like I said, chance to shock actually increases the stun chance when you apply shock. Increase bleed, obvious. That's obvious. Chance to shock, chance to bleed. We have ignite damage. We would prefer, again, melee attack speed, but the ignite is not bad. It's definitely not bad. We have melee cold damage, and then we have melee crit strike chance. Again, we have our peak of the mountain. We would prefer a 2 or 3 stat peak of the mountain. Once we do, if we could get melee elemental damage as well as plus enchant weapon, those are our most 2 essential stats on peak of the mountain. That would be great. However, we're still rolling for that, and we haven't been able to really get over. For our jade amulet, getting critical strike multiplier, full damage, health, a little bit of resistance, and then another chance to shock. These are all really good affixes and prefixes. The increased melee attack speed is best in slot. The increased throwing attack speed is a useless stat, and that's why this amulet is not best in slot. However, it does give melee attack speed, and the most essential stats for Spellblade are attack speed, intelligence, critical strike avoid. Those 3 stats, once they are optimized, along with like your resistances, of course, it will literally carry you through the game. But melee attack speed is so important because we generate ward on hit, and a slight bit of ward per second, but the ward on hit generates faster if you have more attack speed. Faster you attack, the more ward. Also, the more damage. So attack speed is the most essential damage stat for Spellblade. Getting it anywhere you can is very important. Full damage obviously is gonna be really important as well, but melee attack speed is best in slot. Okay, so for our idols, we're getting chance to gain ward on melee hit. We're getting chance to gain ward on melee hit, chance to ignite. We're fixing our resistances with void. If we were to take off these idols, we would be under the void cap. So that's why we are using these. We have ward per second. Increased elemental nova area is not good, but this is just our highest ward per second 3 slot mage idol. We have more void resistance, increased stun duration, increased health regeneration, and then some physical resistance. We are 1.1% under physical, which is kind of an issue, but we'll fix it eventually. 19% health, 4% increased health, 5% increased health, 21 health. Those are our idols. Alright. Alright, so I'm going to show you guys how we do greater echoes on Spellblade. Eventually, always want to keep your ward up with Surge. Stay mobile with your Shatter Strike and a Shatter Strike combo. Keep your mana up. You get hit, use Flame Ward, use a potion. Go back in with Surge. Always keep your ward at half or above. If it's not above half, then just wait for Surge. Initiate with Surge. Poison kind of hurts out. That's kind of hard to keep my word up. Okay. We just want to kind of get an angle on some of these mobs. Go in with Surge and Flame Ward. Always keep the proper angle. Drop a Flame Ward. Pick up that legendary. That fire hurts, man, but Flame Ward is doing its job. Flame Ward saves you from so much. I mean, I get a lot of ward on hit, but Flame Ward saves me from like the cheesy one-shot mechanics that these mobs have, because it's really anti-melee. Some of these maps are anti-melee. It's much better to be ranged because the melee mobs explode on you. So even my like 2,000 ward's not really enough, especially when you parry. And parry is really what gets you killed. Alright though, that's how you do Echo. So, you guys have seen the build, you've seen some gameplay. I just want to tell you like some tips, tricks to surviving on this class, because you could die very easily with this class if you don't know what you're doing. There are 2 ways to initiate a fight, and it's really like once you surge in, you should get ward. If you don't get enough ward, you can flame ward right after you surge. So you can surge into a flame ward, right? And then you go straight into either Shatter Strike, Mana Strike if you have mana. If you don't have mana, then that's when you start the combo with Mana Strike, okay? However, here's the thing, you guys. If you stop moving in like these high tier maps, like Corruption, above to like anything Corruption or Empowered, really, if you stop moving for too long and you get hit, if you don't have a critical strike avoidance, you're gonna die. However, even if you do have critical strike avoidance, if you get hit and you parry, you're just gonna die. So the best way to actually fight and maneuver at the same time on Spellblade is to learn how to attack and move at the same time, because you can move while casting Shatter Strike. In order to do this, you have to Mana Strike into Shatter Strike. This is actually less DPS than Shatter Striking into Mana Strike, because you can cancel Shatter Strike with Mana Strike to the point where your Shatter Strike is seamless, okay? That is going to give you more DPS. However, Shatter Striking first into Mana Strike has less mobility than using Mana Strike into Shatter Strike. So you will die more often if you Shatter Strike into Mana Strike. You actually need to learn how to Mana Strike into Shatter Strike if you want to survive in high tier map. That is the biggest tip to surviving on Spellblade that I can give you. And if you master this, then you will become a god at Spellblade. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, let me know. Thanks for watching the video, you guys. Peace and love.